we set up our perimeter, we set up the rocks so that no one came through. But guys from another unit were coming in to replace us. They set up the cones. An off-duty Iraqi police officer saw the cones, drove straight through, and they lit up this Iraqi policeman.
Oh, at the time I was actually eating a sandwich. It was a turkey or ham sandwich.
Now, these rules of engagement, they're this, and they're governed by the different laws. Social laws, religious laws. And one of them is if Americans hurt, you were going to give them one chance at retaliation. Whereas in 03 or 04, they got you, so you got to go get them back. However many tries it takes you to get them back.
We were on patrol in a small village, and there were reportings of guys standing around the village with mortars. We have to, of course, chase them out because it's a green zone village. Well, I've been looking around pretty much all day. We didn't find anything. So we started loading stuff into the Humvees, the tanks and stuff, and I was trying to jump in the Humvee when I was clipped in the shoulder by a bullet. And at first it didn't bother me too much, and I still held on to the handrail, trying to pull myself in. I got about halfway, and then another bullet hit me in the hip. Well, I fell out, hit the ground, and hit it perfectly, shattered my tailbone. They didn't know I'd fallen out. They drove off.
So we figured that was their retaliation for us getting their IP. So, needless to say, they blew us up, and the bomb hit in the driver's side of my truck. See, luckily it was angled up and away, but the gunner was exposed and he was hurt. I just got my head rattled. Thus, the traumatic brain injury. I am where I am. I'm happier where I am. Would I be happier if I wasn't sick all the time? Yeah. Does it suck being sick? Yeah. It sucks being sick. But when I'm happy, I'm real happy. And I think it's exponentially better to know what it's like to suck. And a lot of people don't know what life's like to suck.
And I crawled underneath a disabled tank. As luck would have it, when I fell, I landed on top of my radio. It broke, but the radio I had an emergency transponder and sent out a beacon. Well, the first 20 or 30 minutes, I just tried to check myself out, and I could tell my shoulder wasn't too bad. I couldn't really get to my hip because you only have about 2 feet of space underneath the tank. So with all my gear, I could barely able to turn. So the first day, the town had been taken over by insurgents. I was just laying under the tank. I could see people walking past and talking, and I couldn't speak the language, so I didn't know what they were saying. But every second I was laying there, I was afraid somebody is going to look underneath the tank and see me. Never left my head, knowing I know how the military works. Sounds kind of weird, but I'm only a sergeant. I mean, they easily replaceable. So it was just that thought rolling through my head. How much is the military really going to do? The second day, I noticed the drag marks from behind the tank. I could see people's shadows walking at the end of the tank. I just laid there, and I noticed that more people were arriving, but at night it was pretty much empty and quiet. The third day, I'd fallen asleep for a little bit, which I was not trying to do, doze off and not wake up, but when I dozed off, I woke up, and I heard a helicopter coming. And the insurgents had left the town, but they had left a team behind in case we came back. So as soon as I heard the chopper, I heard mortars going off. And I was afraid that something would then hit the tank that I was under. When they came back, there was about 7 choppers and 2 tanks on the ground. It was a 20 to 30 minute gunfight, and then everybody went silent. Next, I hear him calling my name out. I drank all of my water, and I was pretty dehydrated and couldn't yell. I stuck my gun out so it hit their feet. Well, the guy who found me was actually the guy who recruited me, Sergeant Gaddis. Kenny, what the hell are you doing there?
I'm out of there. And I yelled, I couldn't move. And he said, all right, well, we'll get you out of there. And they took some chains and hooked it up to the tank that was above me. They dragged it out so they could get to me. And they established pretty quick that I had broken tailbone. You know, he actually came to my school when I was in the 9th grade. I met him. It was one of those things. I had asked him for a ruler. He said he'd give me a T-shirt if I could do push-ups. I did. He gave me a T-shirt and his number, and that's one of those things you don't forget about. When junior year came around, I just happened to run across the phone number, and I figured, I'll call. Luckily, he still had the number.
I got a prognosis. It's what they call it, and you can Google it. It's cavernous hemangioma. It's on the right frontal lobe of my brain. It's got to the point, it's like really big. sort of bleeds every once in a while. And the chance of blindness with an operation is really high. I go on living with these terrible headaches and bleeding out my brain. Do I go ahead with the operation and be blind and try to live a life that way? Seeing is everything. You don't realize it till you almost lose it. You know how important seeing things are? Seeing people's faces. You know, seeing you. I just had a big appointment yesterday. They put me on more drugs, which the Army's known to do. I take 19 pills a day. They range from everything to deal with PTSD from sleep apnea.
11. Healing. Sam and his wife Cindy.
Oh, Roxy.
Hey, Roxy.
Don't you worry about her, she just barks.
I just got back from Virginia Beach and this house is horrible. Do you want some iced tea or something? I've just made it. It won't be till long ago.
Sit down, make yourself comfortable.
Do you want any tea, Sam?
Oh, I'll just have a cup of coffee and a slice of this here pineapple upside down cake. It's store-bought.
No, it's Mom's recipe.
Well, we don't have central cooling, family. Those are just a few fans.
We'll need your sweater in here.
I just taxied the plane off the road and the runway's over there and off I go.
Sam said you're writing a play. How's it going?
Did you know she was coming?
No.
Oh, well, I thought someone from the office would have told you.
No, I haven't talked to anybody. I've been cleaning and doing things.
Oh, this is how I live. Cake waiting at home.
Coffee made.
Oh, if you want to go flying, we can go fly. If you don't, we don't have to. I mean, if it's any consolation to you, I just flew down to Virginia Beach and brought her back.
At first I said I wouldn't fly in it, but if I want to see my grandma.
I'll pull it out, you can get in it. If you want to go, we'll go. If you don't, just say it, you'll pass, and that's fine. It's not for everybody, it's entirely up to you. We'll just buzz around, I'll show you the mountains. Come this way for adventure.
So, did you already do your interview?
Oh, I just told her some of the things. We went over the sad stuff, and now we're trying to get to the happy stuff. You got broad shoulders to pull this one off.
Yeah. It just upsets me the way they're treated. Once they come back, you know? They don't really do anything to help them. I think the VA thought there was a lawsuit coming. They called back and...
conciliatory, there was one lady crying.
His therapist? It was his therapist, and he really, really liked her. And he felt like he was getting somewhere, and she said that he was making progress, but something just set it off.
What are the VA supposed to do for you? Deal with this, you fix this, you unwind this.
Well,
sometimes you
lot of
can't put
that, not
everyone
only
back
John.
together.
There's a lot. I mean, look at his friend who called all the time over Christmas and the New
I wouldn't
Year.
be surprised if we checked in on him and found
Well, I
out.
hope not. He seems to be doing better.
Well, I hope so. They all seem like they are.
It's
Not before they aren't.
a lot they have to cope with. They have to see and do. It's a lot. Well, I didn't know you were coming. Nobody told
Oh,
me.
I thought Amanda would have called you.
No, honestly, she didn't.
That's why she ran back here to bake a cake.
So I Cloroxed down the counter and got the cake mix. That's his favorite. And I did the laundry.
Anyway, we'll go off if you want to go. I got to change my shoes. Did you take my shoes upstairs?
Yes, I did. You had left them laying under the table. Men.
Oh, that's John Boy, and this is Nash we were talking about.
That's not a very good picture,
Well,
John.
it was the one I had in front of me. That's the crew, yeah. Put a face to the name.
Here's one his friend took in Iraq. And here's one we went to New Jersey.